DeLuna Coffee is owned and operated by diehard Florida State fans and boosters, the Lemmix family in Pensacola. So cut them some slack for their Hurricane blend. No green and orange, and it's definitely not all about some random letter in the alphabet. It simply is a blend for those of you who love that strong coffee flavor without bitterness. DeLuna has combined 2 different South American beans with a Hawaiian bean. In fact, the Hurricane blend has won as many ACC titles as the school in Coral Gables. Try it or one of their other 24 blends and get a discount when you use the promo code WARCHANT15. Visit DeLunaCoffee.com and check out their Facebook and Instagram.
From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
wake up, wake up, wake up. Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee.
Coffee's for closers only.
Now here's Warchant.com's Azan Hajavandi.
And Corey Clark.
Wake up! Wake up! It's Wake Up Warchant. It's fueled by DeLuna Coffee, DeLunaCoffee.com. Come explore our world of coffee. Fuel up. Huge game, Saturday, 3:30, Memorial Stadium, Clemson, South Carolina. You're going to be buzzing. But if you really want to maximize the minutes of your weekend, your days, drink DeLuna Coffee. Go to DeLunaCoffee.com. Take the promo code WARCHANT15 with you and save 15% on their immaculate options of blended coffee that will change your mornings. It'll change your day. It'll change your life. Warchant.com has changed my life. Hopefully it's changed yours as well. Use the promo code WARCHANT30. Thumbs up if you're listening to us on YouTube. Subscribe. And let's get after it, Corey Clark. I can't wait to see you, man. I'm going to see you in South Carolina. You know, Braves hopefully up 2-1 at that juncture.
Right.
Getting ready to snap all these streaks, apparently. Clemson, whatever. We're 1-8 in the last 9 up there, and they haven't lost in 33 home games. Whatever. How are you, Corey Clark?
I'm good, buddy. I think it's 31.
Okay.
I think is the number. Let's not give them those 2 extra ones yet. But
it.
yeah, man, doing well. Looking forward to it. Actually excited to cover a college football game. It should be just because it's so. I'm really genuinely interested in how this goes and what it looks like. And plus, like you said, yeah, I'll be coming off the high. I assume of the Braves winning Game 3 to be up 2-1 in the World Series. And I'll have gotten to see it with my son and a couple of buddies. So, yeah, man, I'll be riding high, rolling into Death Valley. And we're not going together. Is that right?
I don't know. I told somebody I'm staying in Atlanta on Friday night for the Clemson game. They're like, why don't you just stay in Clemson? I'm like, well, I think it's really expensive.
Yeah, I mean, you could find somebody's barn, I guess. What, the person think there's a bunch of hotels in Clemson?
Are there not? They haven't built.
I mean, it's Clemson. What do you think? I bet there's like a Hampton Inn and there's probably 4 hotels maybe in Clemson, and I bet they're booked for the Florida State game.
Well, isn't there Spartanburg or something close by?
Spartanburg's close. I still think that Greenville is close-ish.
Yeah.
But probably Greenville would be your best bet. But man, I'm almost as close to Clemson, my house, as Greenville is.
Yeah. All right. We'll be in Gwinnett. Duluth stand-up.
Okay.
Can't wait. It's going to be great. I don't know, Corey. I don't know if I like you being all optimistic about the Braves, especially after
just know that I'm doing it tongue-in-cheek.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So
I don't believe any of this.
All right. Yeah, I'm really disappointed in Max Fried. Thought he'd do better for you. Thought he'd bounce back, but.
Yeah, I was too. No, wasn't a fan of that at all. That was pretty disappointing. Yeah, it was very disappointing. He's our guy. Like, we don't got anybody else because Morton broke his flipping leg. So you need the guy that was the best pitcher in baseball the last 3 months of the season to maybe, pitch like it when it matters. So anyway, hey, we're not here to talk about that. I'm not going to lament that.
Okay.
Still 1-1. You got the split. That's all you want. You were looking for the split. You got the split.
Work on your smile for me. I think this calls for new avatar. This is new profile pic. Corey, Brady, Bravo's World Series game. There's going to be you guys are going to capture a good memory. So when you guys take the photo together, the father-son photo, let's smile. Let's reach down into our down under our plums. Get the best of us, okay?
Okay, I'll do it. I'll do it. Yeah, I do need. Well, I'm not going to change the avatar until we see what happens with the World Series. Okay. Like it got us to the World Series, so I don't want to. Right. I don't want to flip it on its head yet. We'll see. We'll see how Hank Aaron does me because he's my avatar right now, And it's worked so well so far, Mr. Aaron. So hopefully 3 more wins.
All right, let's talk about this Clemson game via your guys' questions left over on the Renegade Express. These were all asked on Monday, so if they seem dated, it's my bad. But not really my bad. I mean, we got to as many as we could, then we do a live show. You know how it all goes. Nonetheless, Mignats. Wake up! I apologize for the party foul last week. I forgot to state my hometown and the famous people from there. I was born in Tallahassee, so the famous people and Noles include T-Pain, Antonio Cromartie, Tamarick Vanover. Solid trio.
Yeah, it's a good trio.
I currently live in the town 127 miles away that Danny Cannell described as travel east till you smell it, go south till you step in it.
Nice.
Don't speak about Ocala like that. Come on. My question. Given Clemson's history of sign stealing, which was found out and solved by Ohio State last year, is our staff doing/working on a game plan to nullify that? Thanks for all you do. Eat at Zaxby's, drink your DeLuna coffee, go Noles. We asked them about that on Wednesday, and Norvell said, like, yeah, we know, we've heard, but he says that they do, it factors into what they do, but they've got a system in place. It's not so much a Clemson-centric thing they did do, but they're aware that many teams try to do it, so they already have safeguards in place. It doesn't seem like they have to do anything out of the ordinary. Devontae Love-Taylor, I think, said the same on Trench Talk about they've got something like they've got 2 sign holders and 4 like towel boy blockers or something, so it's pretty impossible to decipher their signs. But yeah, they're aware of it. Everybody's aware of it.
So what I wonder, I think it would be a cool story to do. Of course, I'm thinking about it now when there's no off week left. Like in an off week, to talk to the guys that like signal in the plays, whether they're holding up signs or doing a dummy sign. Like, I assume they tell all the players, this is the person you're looking at on the sideline. We all know that. This is the person. Joey's got the signs today. And I'm not talking about Florida State. Yeah, I'm talking about every team that does something like this. When they show teams, either they're holding up signs and they're only looking at one square or however that works, or there's multiple people flashing in signs. And like, okay, so for the Clemson game, Joey is your guy. You're just concentrating on Joey. Whatever sign he's holding up, whatever signals he's doing, that's your guy. What are the other 2 doing? Are they just you remember are they just doing nonsense that doesn't mean anything?
No, I'm sure one of them's like receivers look at one thing, running backs are looking at another, offensive line's probably looking at another. There could be.
Did you see the lady that was at the? It might have been, excuse me. It might have been some governor was speaking or some mayor was speaking, and they had the sign language lady out there.
Yeah,
they had no idea what she was doing.
No, I didn't.
Like literally had she had lied her way into the job.
Really?
She was like a con artist that had done multiple things like this, and just was doing outrageous stuff.
Okay.
Right next to the governor, which or the whoever was speaking, and I was wondering if the dummy play callers would do stuff like that too.
Maybe. I did see that clip of like Lollapalooza or something, and I think it was like Lil Wayne, and they had an interpreter, like a sign language interpreter, that would sign out the lyrics, and she wasn't just doing like I wake up and I pop in my clip. I mean, like she was getting, it was amazing. It was amazing.
It's really cool. So you say that there's one on YouTube. It's actually a part of a Pearl Jam video, but one of their concerts, he saw a woman signing, and he got her up there when he sang "Given to Fly." Like he brought her up on stage to like sign while he's saying "Given to Fly." I'm sure it's on YouTube somewhere. If you're a Pearl Jam fan, go find it because it really is awesome. Because she's swaying with the music, and she's when he says a bad word, she does. I mean, it's just really cool, man.
Yeah, I don't think Clemson's stealing signs will be an issue. I'm sure they're still trying to do it, but they're aware of it. So. And I think I asked because I saw this question, so thank you, McNats. Thank you.
And it's also not like the Astros banging trash cans.
Right.
It's part of gamesmanship. Like that's why you're supposed to make your signs difficult to decipher because you have to assume somebody on the other sideline is trying to decipher them. Just like when a runner's at second, a catcher can't just put 1 for a fastball because the runner at second will tell the hitter, "Hey, a fastball's coming." So that's just part of the game. And we all remember it from the game against Auburn.
Bradley Moss, 22. Wake up! Happy to see Jarvis Brownlee get that pick 6 after he dropped the first one, and the little dance he did after he scored was icing on the cake. That got me wondering, though, have they relaxed the rules on celebrating in college? Yeah, this is what I brought up on the live show. I remember this. It seems like I've been seeing more players doing a little dance or something after they score recently the last few years, when in the past it would have surely been an unsportsmanlike. Random thought, but just wondering if you guys had any insight on any rule changes. Thanks, fellas. Let's make it 4 in a row this Saturday. Dr. Dabo, the Noles are coming for you, bringing that bamboo swag with them. Go Noles, go Braves.
Nice. Appreciate that. I've noticed it, too. I would have thought for sure that would have been a penalty. Like, they used to penalize guys for diving into the end zone unnecessarily. I know Tony Carter did it. Like, he dove in the end zone with nobody near him, and they flagged him for it. Now, that was Tony Carter, so we're talking about 15 years ago. But still, it does seem like they've relaxed it a little bit. But I don't know why, and I don't know if there was a rule in place because, yeah, I was surprised. You're allowed to dance in the end zone now after a touchdown. They don't flag you for that. But I'm glad they don't. I'm not saying they should. But I guess they have. I don't know.
Maybe it's something that lasted after COVID. Maybe it's like, let these kids have some fun, like player empowerment, perhaps.
Like Cushney did a dance after his sack. Like he did it towards his own sideline, but he did a little number. Maybe nobody saw it, but he did, and they didn't flag him. Like I don't know that they. Hopefully they've really relaxed that because that was again, yeah. Let them. Football's hard, man. Let them have fun, as long as you're not. Even if you are taunting someone, but you know if you're just celebrating with your teammates, go do whatever you want. I wonder if it's like the NFL, you have to celebrate as a team, right? Isn't that it?
Yeah.
So maybe because Brownlee was dancing near teammates, maybe they've kind of adopted that rule. I don't know.
Hey, Florida State's playing a basketball game on Thursday night?
Yeah, well, an exhibition game, yes.
Huh. Interesting. Didn't even realize that.
You want to talk about it?
No, absolutely not. Love you, though,
okay.
Guys. I don't have anything to tell.
Hey, and I'm interested. We're all interested. You know, these things. You get to see the whole team. They're all going to play, the ones that are available. But yeah, it's first chance to see Worley and Matthew Cleveland and Caleb Mills and Cameron Fletcher. So yeah, watch it, folks. Well, I can't say that. You're listening to this after it's already been over. I hope you watched it.
Yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Hope they all came out looking really great. Reason I know that is because I found out about that is because I went over to the stat page because Island Chief asks for First States. Wake up! At the end of this game, what will be the stat that best tells the story of this game? So I pulled up a box score thing from the UMass game just to kind of look at the stat breakdown they usually give us. Because I don't think first downs will really tell us the story.
No.
Because I think, we all agree Florida State is going to have to, and Clemson too, both these teams are going to have to score, on touchdowns that are going to probably be big, chunk plays, shots, whatever we're calling them now. I will go, what do you think? Probably like average yards per play?
I mean, I was going to say, I know it's boring, but I was going to say turnovers.
Okay, that's fine.
That's my stat. That's my stat that I'm going for. Maybe kick return average.
Okay.
Something like that. But no, genuinely, I just think it's turnovers. I think you've got – I don't think they're even offenses. I think Florida State has a better offense. Well, that's clear. Syracuse would tell you that. But Florida State's playing a better defense. So my point being, I think the offensive numbers will probably be pretty similar. Because, Florida State's playing a very good defense. Clemson's playing an okay defense. Florida State's offense is better. Yeah, you understand the point, everyone. Sorry, I have to keep explaining things. So I think those numbers will be pretty similar. Yards per play, yards overall, even first downs maybe. I just think whoever gets a couple of short fields or a touchdown handed to them is probably going to win the game.
That's fair. Fair enough. Maybe red zone. Although, I did say they're going to have to score on those big chunk plays, but there might be times where maybe the Panda Express gets pulled down at the 13 after a 35-yard run. And Florida State went 6 for 6 in the red zone against UMass. They currently have the 69th best red zone offense, 11th best red zone defense. Look at that.
Bend but don't break, baby. Yeah. Bend but don't break.
Unfortunately, Clemson apparently has the number 1 red zone defense.
Yeah, man, that's what my point was, that when I was talking about it a couple days ago. If you get a chance, if you break free, do not get tracked down at the 6. That's going to cost your team 4 points. Do what you got to do, Trayshawn, but get in the end zone. Don't let them track you down. because it's hard to score on them, period. Man, once it gets tight down there in the 10, 15-yard range, it's almost impossible. They just don't give up points. Like, weren't all of Pitt's touchdowns long ones?
I think at least two of them were, and I mean, they scored one on a pick six, so I think that might be the extent of their scoring.
I think they had one on a fourth down, like a big play on a fourth down. They had a 50-yard pass. So yeah, you can't count on getting inside the 20 and then getting in the end zone. So, but at the same point, when you get inside the 20, don't force anything if it's not there. 3 points is better than none. And so do what you can. Get your points when you get a chance. But yeah, man, it'd be nice if you can go ahead and turn that 50-yard play into a 58-yard touchdown.
13-play, 90-yard drive that was capped off with a 23-yard touchdown pass. 9-play, 76-yard drive that was capped off with a 39-yard touchdown pass. Those were Pitt's offensive touchdowns. Then they had the shovel six and a pair of field goals. So, but hey, man, 13 plays, 90 yards. Right. You know, that's moving the ball. That's scooting around. 9 plays, 76 yards.
Well, and that's another thing though. Pitt, I think Pitt came in with like the number 4 offense in the country into that game. Like, they're putting up 50 on everyone, but not Clemson again. And they were at home. Pitt was at home. Like, this is a different animal. So you're going to have some opportunities. They're not unbeatable. They're not immovable. But man, you've got to take advantage of those opportunities because you're not going to get a ton of them. They are really well coached.
They're conventional, though. Florida State's not conventional. Number 5 total offense. Number 4 scoring offense. Golly, man. Pitt's been averaging 526 yards per game, 45 points on the scoreboard.
Yeah. Yep.
They only put 28 on Virginia Tech. It's that New Hampshire game. They put 77 on the board.
That altered everything.
And they played UMass and put up 51 on UMass. So
Pitt played UMass too?
Week 1, 51-7.
Walt Bell, they're not doing him any favors, though, huh? Pitt, BC, Florida State.
We pay well. We pay well in the ACC.
Yeah, I guess.
Come get your comeuppance. GSL 75-32. What's going on with Green, number 8? Is he hurt? Yeah, Renardo's hurt, seems like, and now he's just lost in the shuffle, apparently, I think. But yeah, he's been hurt. Had big hopes and aspirations for him, but Sidney Williams, Jamie Robinson seem to have kind of solidified the safety positions for now. But, you know, if he's still here next year, I would imagine if he can get himself right physically, he'll compete. As long as
he'll be in the competition for it, yeah.
Samurai_Nole. Wake up, gents. Greeting from Japan. Congrats, Corey, on those Braves heading to the World Series. I'm a lifelong Cards fan, but I've always had an enormous amount of respect for the Bravos. He said Braves. I said Bravos twice.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, and right back at you. Always had a deep respect for the Cardinals, especially a couple years ago when I spent all that money to go to the Game 5 of the NLDS home game. Fultzy's on the mound, feeling good about things, and they gave up 10 runs in the first inning.
I remember that. Sorry.
That was awesome. Feeling good.
Samurai Knowles, interested in your thoughts on this. Do you think the key for Clemson will be to try to come out early and punch the Florida State defense in the mouth with a couple of early scores? I think if we can manage to fight it out into the fourth quarter, we have the resolve to pull out the dub. Thanks again, guys. Go Noles.
Yeah, that's kind of like
weather the storm, Corey, right?
Sure, and I think that, and they've done that. Like, I think they scored on their first drive against NC State. I feel like they scored on their first or second drive against Pitt. Like, 2 games they lost, actually. They scored early and then kind of just fell into the malaise. But yeah, it's kind of like the question I asked Adam Fuller. Like,
third drive against Pitt. Apologize.
Okay, all right. But it was the first, I think. Man, you're on the jump, man. As soon as I say something, it's like I picture you like at Mission Control. You got like 9 different computers just looking at everything. It's like a guy the guy in the headquarters operating the heist.
Yeah.
Like telling everybody where the cops are. So yeah, I think that's the kind of question I asked Adam Fuller. Like, you know, wouldn't it be you want to start strong against a team that doesn't have a lot of confidence? And he's like, well, yeah, we're always looking to start strong. Yes, this team has no confidence offensively. The one thing you wonder about is they did score on their last drive. And you might say, well, that's not a big deal. They still lost. Well, Clemson hasn't scored a lot of touchdowns this year. So they're actually coming off a touchdown drive, which I don't know that they can say that's happened in any other game going into a game. So maybe they feel a little better about how they moved the ball there at the end. And if you give them a reason to get some confidence, they might play with some confidence. And so, yeah, you want to avoid getting down early. Just give them a reason to doubt. Because I can tell you, I know they're doubting themselves anyway because of the way they played. The way they played so far, but none of those guys think they're going to lose to Florida State. I can promise you, they don't even think it's a remote possibility. You know, I wrote a column about what kind of test this is for Florida State. You can find on the website, and I talked about how the last 2 times they played Florida State, they were up 59-3, and they were up 42-0 in the third quarter. Those were embarrassments. These guys do not take Florida State seriously. And so much so that their coach accused the whole school of being cowards and not wanting to play his big bad team last year. So those guys, if you punch them in the mouth or at least absorb the shot and force a couple of punts early and force them to play with a little confidence or a lack of confidence and a little doubt, yeah, man, you should be in the game the whole time. Do not let them get out early. Because, yeah, then you just don't want to play behind against this team, and you don't want them to have any reason to feel confident on offense because they're not good. So don't give them a reason to feel confident.
Second drive against NC State, 5-play, 80-yard touchdown drive.
So I was almost right in what I said.
Yeah.
Close enough, right? I mean, who needs real facts?
Right.
Close-ish. I'm in the neighborhood.
Yeah, I just wonder, even if they do score on their first drive. I mean, listen, they do have talent. They've got Ross and that Ngata guy, although he's always banged up. Ngata, he's like their Jordan Travis, it seems. But Ross and Ngata are legit threats. Shipley is their best running back, and that Maffrin guy. So they do have 2 good running backs. Their offensive line is, I think, maybe grossly exaggerated in terms of how Civ-like they are, because they got good tackles. But it's that quarterback. I don't think if you can, communicate well on the back end and not give him wide open situations, I don't know how eager he is to throw into coverage and into traffic. But yeah, wouldn't hurt. Definitely wouldn't hurt to start out strong because, man, they've been behind and they drop touchdowns and they drop first downs, and that stuff probably gets in your head at some point. So let's keep that up. Let's keep it up. Let's go to Hawaii, Corey, if you don't mind. We'll go to our guy Ralph, Spartan Noles 71. Aloha, guys. How's it? Figure you guys will give plenty of thought about the game this weekend, so I thought I would look to the future. While at the Seminole Booster event in Pensacola, the FSU assistant athletic director made a comment about looking to schedule a game in Hawaii. Really? You were there, Corey? That happened?
Yeah, but was he? I don't remember that, number one. No offense to our man. I just wasn't listening. When I'm at an event like that, Aslan, there's a lot of people wanting to talk to me.
Obviously.
So I wasn't listening to exactly what Mr. Curry was saying. But, okay, that would be cool. I don't know if he was doing it if he said it as a joke.
Yeah, I would think he'd be like, we're open to scheduling anybody. If Hawaii wants to play. Yeah. Anywho, if and when this happens, I would like to extend an invitation to all Warchant staff that would come out for the game to come over to the house, sit by our pool, and have a few cold ones. Miss Ingrid will fix up some of her Chilean menu, and we could discuss the national championship we won the year prior, or how Adam Fuller has our defense humming like a German-engineered machine. As always, mahalo for all that y'all do. Go Warchant. Oorah.
I love dreaming. I love dreams. Big dreams, too. Not just little dreams. Dream big, man. Us out in Hawaii, dreaming about Corey Clark getting on a plane to Hawaii. I mean, that's a crazy dream in and of itself. But, yeah, man, hey, let's hope that happens one day. As far as I know, Florida State has never played in the state of Hawaii. Bobby Bowden did coach in an Aloha Bowl once. Or not the Aloha Bowl, the
Hula Bowl?
The Hula Bowl. Yeah, he did coach in that at least once. So there's that. But I don't believe Florida State's ever played in Hawaii.
I was about to say, I think Florida State's never left the lower 48, if you will.
Yeah.
But that'd be awesome. What about, would you and Steph, make a trip out of it? Maybe take, a cruise ship out from L.A. to Hawaii?
Do they do that?
I would assume so, yeah.
But then I still have to fly to Hawaii. I fly to L.A.
Well, you could
So
drive.
if I'm flying to L.A., I might as well finish off the drill. And I've done that before. I've flown to Hawaii twice, right when I was going through my panic attacks. I say that. I wasn't really having a panic attack, but I wasn't happy about anything. But yeah, so I can do it. I guess I would do it again. But that would be it. Have you ever been out there?
No, I haven't. I'd love to go.
It's crazy, man. It's incredible. Like, you could understand, like, how some people just get there and never leave.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a different world out there, man. It is really such a different world. So, yeah, Ralph's living the life.
My buddy who was in town last week, the one that stole Andrew Jones's girl and made her his wife, they've gone to Hawaii a few times because they lived out in Los Angeles. He was saying Kauai. I guess that's an island. He was like, go there. He's like, it's Jurassic Park. It's just out of this world, beautiful. So I've stored that in my head. Because he's like, because they're from L.A. He's like, there's no point in going to Honolulu. It's a big city. It's got the whole
it's a big city with a beach.
Yeah, so he's like, we try to avoid that and do something different instead of basically just being an L.A. part two. So
right,
Kauai. So maybe, Ralph, if you hear that, does that sound right? Let us know. Moving along. You know, by the way, you just seem so good-natured and such a good sport about so many things, Corey. I can't imagine you pouting or throwing a fit. Like, I want to see what you would look like on a plane. Like, would it just be like, hey, stop? Like, if I had a phone on you, like, filming you, like, stop it, dude. Like, get it off me. I'm serious. Like, I mean, I see you, like, giggling the whole time. Like, dude, just stop. You know I'm not.
So when I flew out some buddies to Vegas about 8 or 9 years ago, and it was one of the last flights I took. It was probably the last flight before the national championship game, and then those are the last 3 flights I've taken. Is those 2 to Pasadena and then this one to Vegas. And you know, I was kind of number one. I drank 8 or 9 beers before we got on the plane.
Let's go.
And then as we're taking off, I grabbed the guy that's sitting behind me, the Carlos, who was sitting behind me. He like patted me on the shoulder as we're going down the runway, picking up speed.
Yeah.
And I grabbed his hand and squeezed it. First, like Thelma and Louise, like just as a joke, and then literally until like he's like, okay, man, it's not funny, okay, and I'm just squeezing it as hard as I can. Let go, until I felt safe enough that we were clear of. Because you know most accidents are like in the first minute probably. That's when you know things have gone wrong, right. Unless you're old, what's his name, hitting birds over the Hudson.
Sully.
Yeah. So I'd be fine. I'd giggle through it, I guess. I'd try my best, and I'd be inebriated or something else.
I got faith in you. I think you'd be fine. I think you would.
I would be. I mean, I've flown 250 times, 300 times in my life. I know the odds. I drive crazy hours all the time. I know the odds and how much safer air travel is, but still, it's scary. Nobody that flies a lot can tell me they don't get petrified sometimes when it starts shaking and you dip, or right when you're taking off. You can act all calm. Oh, yeah, I fly 200 times a year. I'm George Clooney in that Up in the Air movie. You're still scared. You still white-knuckle it a little bit. You know, there's always that worry of the sensation of, like, as soon as you take off, okay, is the tail going to hit behind us? I want to make sure we clear where the tail doesn't hit, just from a physics standpoint. And then as soon as you start ascending, if you start rolling one way or the other, that's when the pit really gets into your stomach.
See, I've never had any anxiety on takeoff. Like my stomach sinks on descent, which when I was younger it did and made me like nauseous. But yeah, if it dips and it gets rocky turbulence, my mind will go to a dark place sometimes. Yeah. But takeoff doesn't bother me at all.
No, all right. Well, that's when all the crashes are.
Candy for Noles. Real question here. I mean, Candy, are you trying to insinuate that everybody is not asking a real question before? Come on, Candy. Team player. I keep hearing coverage of the FSU Clemson game talking about how Clemson has not scored more than 20-something points in every game this year. They have scored more than that, but it was against South Carolina State. They haven't scored more than 20 on a FBS team.
FBS school, yes, correct.
But how do those defenses compare to ours? Want to know if the statistics show that our defense is better than or at least as good as any of those defenses. Thanks. Go Noles, go Braves.
You bet. Thank you for that. Do you have it at hand, Aslan? Because I have to imagine Florida State's defense is at least as good or in the same neighborhood as Syracuse and Georgia Tech and Boston College.
I saw the first half of the Boston College game.
Oh, I thought you were going to look up the actual stats.
Well, I mean, I'll do that as well.
I'll do it. You talk. I'm going to do it one time.
Well, no, it's fine. I already got it. So Boston College, what do you want? Total defense, what do you want? Total defense?
Yeah, we'll do total defense.
Boston College, 41st.
Okay.
Accidentally hit Wake Forest, so I apologize for that, everybody.
Geez.
I know we're off to a bad start. Syracuse, total defense, 27th.
What?
Yeah, well, they played Monmouth and.
Right. Old Jordan Travis just riddled that defense.
Yeah. And then Florida State, Pitt's total defense is 20th.
What about Georgia Tech?
Georgia Tech, that's a good question. Georgia Tech and Jeff Collins, they play a salty brand of defense, but their total defense is 97th.
Yeah, and Clemson scored 14 against that group. And what's Florida State at now? What are they, 68 or something?
I thought they were like in the 70s. I'll double-check that, though, here. And total defense for the Adam Fuller-led unit, 73rd. Yeah, total defense, 73rd. Okay. 388 yards of offense per game. I do think like Boston College is a little more active. They seem to have a kind of better grasp of what they're trying to accomplish on defense. They move around a lot, and they're quite aggressive. I don't know if Florida State's really achieved that level. But again, man, like DJ Ungalale does not – Uwe Ungalale. I apologize, DJ. Sincerely. He is not seeing the field all that great. You mentioned, you corrected me on the live show, they are somewhat plagued by drops, so that's maybe not all of his fault. But again, like they're not doing any – these defenses aren't just absolutely smothering the receivers, smothering running lanes, and living in the backfield. I know there's some concern with the way Clemson's offensive line has been playing. But listen, Florida State's defensive line is probably going to be the best defensive line Clemson's seen since week 1. Like Lovett and Cooper, Jermaine Johnson, Keir Thomas, those four dudes are really stout. They can outside of Coop, who I love, they all can play both the pass and the run pretty much equally. Maybe Jermaine's a little bit weaker on run defense than he is pass defense, but he's just so great at rushing the passer that I don't want to take points away from him on that. But no, man, I don't think this is if anything's going to happen for Clemson miraculously, because that's what it would take for them to really find their footing, I think, offensively. I don't think Florida State's going to go in there and trip over themselves and not be able to live up to the moment. Like maybe they just start catching the ball, right? Maybe they break a tackle or two that they haven't in games prior. But I don't think the busts or some sort of lack of physicality is going to cause Florida State's defense to be the first one that lets Clemson score more than 20 points. I don't think that'll be it.
Okay, hey man, I'm with you. Let's hope you're right, buddy. But yeah, look, those teams probably they definitely have better statistical defenses other than Georgia Tech, but not by. I can promise you, like if you look at what Florida State has done the last 3.5 games defensively, it's as good as anything Pitt and Syracuse and whoever the other one was. What was the Boston College. Yeah. And obviously Georgia Tech's just been bad against everyone all year. So Florida State isn't a good defense, but like a great one, but they're as good right now playing on Halloween as Boston College and Pitt are, in Syracuse are, in my opinion, which isn't great. You want to be better than those teams, obviously, but they are playing better. And so it's hard to even compare just by numbers. But I would say Florida State's on par with those defenses. It's not like Clemson has played some incredibly stout units, and that's why they can't move the ball. No, they're playing kind of middle-of-the-road ACC defenses, and they haven't done anything against anyone yet.
NC State, by the way, which we probably should talk about. Maybe I should have watched that game. They're 18th in total defense, 11th rushing defense. Florida State's rushing defense is 79th. They're allowing 158 yards, which is crazy.
It's 2 games. It's the Wake Forest game and it's the Syracuse kid at quarterback.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, that's why these things can be skewed a little bit.
Right. You
give up because you're not facing. If Clemson ran Wake Forest offense, you'd be like, "Oh, good grief, this is gonna be tough," but they don't. So that kind of skews things a little bit. But I think they do. That's the problem is they with stats sometimes, right? Is we do both think they have a good run defense.
Yes.
Not great. Their linebackers aren't great. That doesn't help. But those front four do a good job and did a good job against that Syracuse kid. until the quarterback got out wide. They did a good job of containing Syracuse's traditional running game. They've done it really against everybody. They did it well against Notre Dame. They've done it against everybody they played, short of the Syracuse kid at quarterback and Wake Forest.
Garrett Schrader.
They just couldn't stop Wake Forest.
Hey, folks, if you're interested in investing in cryptocurrencies but aren't sure where to start, check out the Kraken app. With the Kraken app, you simply just download the app and you can trade easily on the go with over 50 of the most popular cryptos. It's super easy to get started. Again, just download that app, create an account. And the cool thing is you only need about $10 to start, so even if Bitcoin's worth 65,000 American dollars, you can use $10 and get started. Find out why Kraken has been one of the highest rated places to buy crypto for the last 10 years. One of my buddies was telling me about how he's looking at the Shiba Inu coin. And he was like, yeah, man, if that thing can get up to 1 cent, he's like, I just need to get to 1 cent and I'll be a millionaire because I bought $2,000 worth of it a few weeks ago. And I'm like, oh my God, my buddy's going to be a millionaire. And then I went and looked at the Shiba Inu price and it's currently 0.00006. So
okay. So that's like buying a penny stock.
Yeah.
And hoping it turns into Amazon. But it's a fun game to play. So go do it, everyone.
Visit kraken.com/warchant now to learn more or search Kraken in the App Store. Back to the ponies we go. I think we only got a few more here, Corey. C_Swizzle8. Wake up! Just to let you guys know, the bamboo plant I bought at the farmer's market after Syracuse is climbing day by day.
Can you do that? Are all what environments, are they conducive to growing bamboo? Do you just need some ground and some water, or is there's something over in Asia where it's more conducive to bamboo growing?
That's a very good question. I don't
could you plant a palm tree in Georgia or in
maybe like St.
Utah?
Simon's Island? Not Utah. Yeah, maybe St. Simon's Island, but I don't think like in Utah would sustain itself. Yeah, this bamboo thing. I might buy a Lucky Bamboo. I think those actually. My mom had a Lucky Bamboo. I don't think those grow 10 feet tall. Maybe they're kind of like a miniature pincher, like a mini schnauzer. It's not the full size. I won't go crazy. Anywho, realistic scenarios. What are the realistic scenarios that have to happen in order for FSU to reach the ACC championship game? Oh, come on.
Come on now.
Come on, guys. I'm trying to be optimistic, and you guys.
I don't think it's possible. I guess they've only got 2 losses in the ACC. Yeah. So if they run out the table, they would have to have Wake Forest lose 3 times.
Well, I think, Louisville's got to lose a few more times too, I think. Right now.
But Louisville's got Clemson. They both have Clemson.
Yeah. Well, not to be mean to our guy C. Swizzle. They're currently tied for 4th. So Wake is 4-0, NC State is 2-1, Clemson's 3-2, and then Louisville and Florida State are tied at 2-2.
Well, the only 2 they got to worry about though is Louisville and Wake because they control their destiny with the other ones.
Yeah.
So if you beat Clemson, you're 3-2, but you're already 2 games. You're essentially 3 games behind Wake because they hold the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
So even if Wake loses 2 more times, they still beat you head to head. So you'd have to have Wake lose 3 of its 5 remaining games. It could happen. They have to play NC State. They have to play Clemson.
Wake's got Duke this week at home.
That's a dub.
Then they got to go at North Carolina, host NC State, and then at Clemson, at BC.
So they've already played Louisville then, I guess, and beaten Louisville.
Correct. Yeah, and Syracuse.
And Louisville has not played Clemson, right?
I don't think so. No, they have not. Louisville's not.
And Louisville's already got 2 losses, right, in the conference?
Yes. Wake Forest and Virginia.
All right, yeah. Hey, so there you go. You just need Wake to lose 3 times and win out. That's what you got to worry about. That would be come on now. That'd be great, man. I'm rooting for it. Imagine us having to have plans in Charlotte. I can promise you the ACC's rooting for it too. They do not want a Wake Forest Pitt ACC championship game with 12,000 people in the stands. The same day that Alabama probably and Georgia are going to be playing for, probably 2 spots in the playoff. So that's not going to be a great look. Florida State would at least add some luster to the game.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but you know how mad I would be if they were to make it to the ACC championship game and they lost in the ACC championship game? Like if they fought all this way and got back there and they lost to Pitt.
That's first world problems,
Yeah,
man.
right.
We're not in the first world right now.
All right. Thanks, guys. I wish I could contribute more on the live podcast, but your boy's fresh out of college trying to save for a house. You're good, man. Keep renting, though. Don't be in a rush right now, man. It's got to calm down. It's got to start slipping a little bit, so don't be in too much of a rush. Hopefully you're with your parents. Just, man, live with mom and dad for a little bit and work and save. You'll save up so much money, and there's no shame in being 26, 27, live with mom and dad. Anybody
Don't
gives you
listen to
problems
that.
for it. Yeah,
Don't listen
come
to
on.
that.
I mean, just don't. Come on.
There's no shame. I'm not going to child shame someone for living with their parents. But if Brady's living with me at 26, I won't be happy about it.
Well, if he's working, though, I'm not saying like he's living in the basement, but he's working to save up money. Like you wouldn't, like my mom and dad were totally cool with it. Not that I wanted to. Like I would have rather been on my own, but they're like, yeah, you can move back in for a year and save up money. That's fine.
Well, that's one thing, moving
That's what
back
I'm
for a
saying.
year.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're saying to move back for 8 years.
No, I'm saying
Like
give it,
just
a
live
year or
until you
two.
find a wife or something or
No.
a significant other.
Give it a year or two. I mean, the amount of money like when you don't have to pay any bills, like you save up so much money. It's incredible. Although some of you parents out there, I don't know. Like my mom and dad have never asked me for anything, like never. And I have to reassure them that like, hey, I'm going to help take care of you if you guys need help, but they don't. Their retirement's great. But you people that like charge your kids like to you make them pay like half the utility bill. Come on, man, I'm just spoiled. Like I couldn't imagine my mom and dad coming and be like, hey, you got 80 on the utility, bud. Like, excuse me.
Yeah, I don't think that would have happened with me either, but I can see both sides of it. Like you are trying to get your kid like to learn about life and like, hey man, you can't live with me forever and you've got to start you've got to understand how to use your money and where this money goes. But yeah, what I would do is give them a year. This is me giving, because I'm foreseeing it. I've already foreseen it. There's going to be a time where Brady's going to ask to live with me because he's not going to want to live with his mom. No offense to his mom. He's going to want to live with me, and he's going to ask to do it, mainly because he'd have a house half the time by himself.
Probably.
And I'll give him a year. Yeah. And I'll be like, you've got it. Number one, you have to have a job. You're not going to sit here and sleep until noon. That's what I do. You have to have a job, and I will give you a year to save up money, but it's your money, and then you go out on your own. But you have a year starting from today. I'm not going to ask you for rent. I'm not going to ask you for grocery money. I'm not going to ask you for utilities. But you have exactly 1 year. At day 366, I don't know, maybe it's not a leap year, you're out of the house, and you've got an apartment or you got a house somewhere.
Did you get that fancy degree from the University of Georgia and then just set on your own and there's no looking back?
I stayed with, well, I kind of went back and forth between my mom and my dad, actually.
All right. There you go.
Well, my mom's a little more traditional, so Shanna came up and stayed with me the summer after I graduated, and she did not want Shanna and me to maybe, we were 22 at the time, but you understand.
Sharon
my dad
knows
didn't
the
care. Yeah, my dad didn't care. So we stayed with my dad's a lot. I worked at Old Navy, and then I lucked into a job at the Thomasville Times-Enterprise in August. So it was like 3 months of doing that.
How many people have introduced their time at the Thomasville with "I lucked into getting"?
Well,
a job?
come on, man! I was working at Old Navy and had no prospects, and they called me out of the blue. They cold called me because I'd called them like 2 months prior and asked if they had an opening. I cold called every newspaper in the state and asked if they had an opening. Nobody did, but they took my name down, and then they had a stringer named Cal Powell. I think that was his name. Cal Powell was a Georgia student from Thomasville. So he would string for them. He would write freelance for the Thomasville Times-Enterprise and give them all their Georgia coverage. And they called up Cal Powell, who was still in school, and said, hey, have you ever heard of Corey Clark? And he's like, no. He's like, can you figure out a way to like find some information on him because we want to bring him down for an interview? And so he found my name in the UGA registry and gave them my number, and they called me. I went down for an interview, and they offered me a job. That's how, with no experience. So, yeah, it was very, very lucky.
That's how we got here. That's the origin story of Corey Clark.
That is the origin story. Cal Powell, Robert Horn, the whole gang made that happen.
Let's go.
And Old Navy. I had to wear those headsets, man, at Old Navy. And look, you can imagine who works at Old Navy. I was 22. Like, I had just graduated college, and I'm working with a bunch of 16-year-olds that don't really care if they fold a shirt well or not. And I'm having to clean up vomit. It wasn't great, man. It wasn't a great time, but I made it through.
Oh, all right. Home stretch. I think we got like 4 more. Walking Knoll 01.
Sorry.
Hey, man, it was Clemson.
I always feel like I'm bogging it down by telling those stories.
No, these were fun. Everybody likes that stuff, man. All right, it's Walker over in Mississippi. I know I should have gotten on board early yesterday, he says, because his post was post number 23, so he realized it was probably going to be I'm guessing this will be a Friday when you read this. You're right, Walker. You know us. I'm too anxious to ask if we will win. I think we can get a great game to watch, and I can't wait for it. In the end, we will win, I hope. Can we get the dub without some serious wear and tear on Jordan Travis and the offensive line? I hope so. For my question, blackout jerseys. Did we do away with them? I haven't seen them in a while, and I, unlike others, never want to see them again. I think they just remind me of Virginia Tech and many other disappointing performances.
Yeah.
But didn't we get bowl eligible in the blacks against Maryland in 9?
No, those were I feel like those were that was the EJ game, the Greg Reed punt return. I don't feel like those were black though. Those were even a different kind of.
Yeah, they were.
Maybe they were black. I just feel like they were like black with red helmets, garnet helmets, some weird concoction. I think I feel like the last time they wore them was the Virginia Tech game.
But even that wasn't a full blackout. I mean, there was still the garnet helmet. Like, we've never been like totally black on black on black. But I digress. I was trying to pull it up here. I'm sorry. Yeah, the Maryland game was black helmets, weird garnet jerseys, like garnet on garnet, but with gold numbers. Really funky looking. I apologize. Anyhow, Walker. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with those things. Let's see here. If we want to look like a circus act, actually, we are the Seminoles, and on Saturdays we wear garnet and gold. If you want to look like a circus act with different jerseys, go to Oregon and lose one terrible game every year. Also, tomahawks must have been really small. By the way, wouldn't Mario Cristobal go to Miami if they offered him? I can't see why he would say no. I just can't.
I know he went there.
He's from there, man. He is Miami. He's Vinny Chase. He is Queens Boulevard.
Don't you think he knows better than others? Like, it can't be done there. Like, literally, we're on Coach 5 that hasn't gotten it done there.
I know, but it's like, Al Golden. None of those. It's not like.
But Oregon
Kirby
is
went there and flamed out.
Oregon's a great place to coach.
It's Oregon, though. He's from
You've got
Miami.
unlimited money. You've got the
Miami.
West Coast. You get anybody you want, seemingly out of the West Coast. You're always winning 9 or 10 games a year. I mean, he's won there. I mean, they'll definitely make a run at him. And he might say yes, but I would tell him it's a mistake. I think he's got one of the best jobs in football. You win a lot of games. It's not incredible pressure. You've got unlimited Nike money. Your stadium is on campus. That helps. It's always a big plus. And you have people that come to your games. That's also a big plus. You don't get either one at Miami. So I know you get Miami recruits, which is an enormous benefit. But I don't think Mario Cristobal going to Miami means that Alabama stops getting whoever they want in Miami or whoever they want in Florida. So I don't know. I just think and you're in the Pac-12. You don't want to come into this meat grinder. You think he wants to coach in the Coastal?
You're right.
Are you nuts? You see what Pitt's doing now? So they'll definitely make a run at him. He'll be option 1 for sure, and that'll challenge my whole philosophy on that program, because that is, wouldn't you say Cristobal? I mean, aren't they top 10 Oregon?
Yeah.
So wouldn't you say what he's done after Taggart left? You could make the argument he's one of the top 10 or 12 coaches in the country, one of the biggest names. Probably top 10 or 12 biggest names at one of the best programs. If he's willing to go to Miami, then okay, maybe I'll readjust what I think their ceiling is, I guess. I still think there's some real obstacles there. But if he says no and stays at Oregon instead of going back to his alma mater where he's from, wouldn't that just spell it out for everyone that, yeah, man, Miami ain't Miami anymore? and can't. You know,
it'd be like if
this will
Scott
be
Frost
so
didn't
it'll
go
be
to
really
Nebraska,
interesting,
right? Like if Scott Frost, like I'm going to pass, I'm going to stay in Orlando. It'd be like, all right,
Right.
Nebraska, it's never, ever,
Which
ever
he should have. You know, and hey, maybe that's a good test for Cristobal. Like, man, I don't want to go the Scott Frost route. I love it here. I've got a good job. I win 10 games a year and get most of the kids I recruit.
I just think if you're from Florida, nothing beats living in Florida. Even making $6 million living in Eugene, Oregon. Like making $3.5 million living in Miami, I would take that over making $6 million in Eugene, Oregon.
You and Mario are different people, Aslan. He loves it out there, man.
Yeah,
He's got a log cabin,
Anyhow.
smoking his dope like all those other hippies out there. That's what they do, right? And it's probably legal. It's got to be legal in Oregon.
Well, I mean, I think like dope signifies as illegal. Like
Oh, no,
I
saw weed.
Weed,
Right, yeah, that's right. It's talking like a 70s cop show.
The devil's lettuce. Also, Walker says, the Tomahawks must have been really small, or it could have been North Carolina's terrible cameras, but I still didn't see them. All of this I know you guys can't control. I just knew you had more insight on it than I do. Yeah, I don't know. I need to go live with one of you guys for a week, like during football season, just to know what you guys like, because I just don't. Like, my friends don't ask me, like, hey, man, what's up with the Tomahawks? But a lot of you care. Like, a lot of you are like, dude, like, what's up with the Tomahawks?
Are they still not on the helmet?
I don't know.
Can you pull up a picture? Do we have any pictures from the UMass game?
I can try to do that. Let me see if there's a question here that I can ask, and then I can maybe stall. One last thing on my statement last week. No, there isn't a question. He said that NC State was going to be our toughest opponent to come. He wasn't counting Florida. I put them in another category. I was hollering at myself while listening to the podcast when I realized I forgot to give proper context. Thanks for all you guys do. See you in November. Go Noles.
Yeah,
I'll ask you this question. I'll pull up a photo. But go ahead. Continue.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No, you didn't. Go ahead.
This comes from SPM Jab 1. Wake up! Since Brad Scott left, not Jeff Scott, but Brad Scott, is Dabo devolving the way Jimbo did after Monk Bonasori passed away? Having that person who deeply understands both the head coach and the higher-ups makes a world of difference. Or this could be a blip for them and they will be back next year. But one can hope.
Yeah, I know that's probably the hope. Look, it's hard to say, right? We didn't know Jimbo. We didn't know what was happening to the program was so severe as it was happening. You saw more and more evidence into 15, into 16, and then obviously 17 was like, that the trial was over after that. You had all the evidence you needed. That the program was in really bad shape. I certainly think it's too early for this. Look, man, it's much like the 15 team, and even 16 to an extent, other than the Louisville game. Those losses were all close. These losses are close. It's not like Clemson's getting embarrassed, but they're embarrassed by that record. They started out the season 4th in the country with this kid that threw for a gazillion yards in his 2 starts last year. And then he can't, they have one of the worst offenses in the country right now. I just think that's more to it than some overriding culture problem. Like, I know Dabo does not like transfers, but, everything could be solved perhaps with a big-time transfer at quarterback. Or I think they have a huge recruit coming in, because why wouldn't they? A big-time quarterback recruit coming in. It could all be fixed with fixing the offense, whether that's a new OC, a new co-OC, or a better quarterback. But I'm hesitant to say that the program is it's on shaky ground right now. I just don't think there's enough evidence through 7 games. Yeah, although they're 4-4 in their last 8, right? If you want to go back to the playoff last year,
I guess, yeah. I mean, they're still copacetic over there. Like, they believe in Dabo, and Dabo loves administration. There isn't the friction that existed with Jimbo and Seminole boosters by and large.
What could Dabo possibly? And I'm not saying Jimbo was absolved of any wrongdoing himself, but what could Dabo have anything to complain about, booster-wise, administration-wise?
Yeah. I
mean, he gets paid a gazillion dollars. He has his football mansion. He has an incredible fan base that shows up all the time. Like, he has no reasons to complain. Jimbo did have a few legitimate reasons to complain. So yeah, that it's just different. Yeah, Jimbo didn't like maybe if Jimbo was at Clemson or maybe at A&M, I don't know. I haven't talked to anybody that works with him at A&M. Maybe he's a different dude. Maybe he's just a friendly, nice guy to everyone. and just the things he was trying to get done behind the scenes that weren't getting done maybe in the manner or the time that he wanted. But I just have a hard time believing that. But it could be true.
But I'm sure he's not as as prickly. Still prickly. Can't zebra can't change its stripes. Leopard can't change its spots. But
there you go.
Maybe a little bit more easier to deal with.
A toad can't change its horns.
There we go. Right.
Or frog. Are there horned toads? Horny toads, right? Or horned frogs? Horned frogs. TCU. There you go. Sorry, guys.
Correct. By the way, Clemson does have a commitment from Clay Klubnik, the number one dual threat or the number one pro-style quarterback out of Westlake High School in Austin, Texas. So, man, they've if this kid doesn't
Jimbo
work,
doing?
I don't know.
How's he letting him get away to Clemson?
He's got probably some kid up in Delaware. He's got an eye on that. He's got a strong arm.
Yeah. Throws 9 passes a game, but likes his build, his physique.
By the way, Tomahawks are there. I see a photo of Darius Washington hoisting Jordan Travis in the air after a touchdown. I see the back of his helmet, and I see at least 7 Tomahawks. So they're there.
Okay, all right.
Maybe on the
they're
back.
Not flooding the helmets.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I like it. You probably should be 12-0. Like, to have Winky's helmet look like Winky, you probably should be on a team that's playing like 1999 Florida State, right? You shouldn't.
Right. Sure.
3-4. Your helmet shouldn't be littered with Tomahawks. I wouldn't think. So.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, here we go. 2 more. Georgia Noles 86, GA Noles 86. It's Ranye, Lawrenceville. Wake up! Thank you guys for everything that you do. Thank you, Ranye. Welcome back. It's been a while, man. Do you think that Mackenzie Milton will try to get another year of eligibility, being that he missed the season with his injury and then the COVID year? Would they grant him a 6th year? If so, how would that affect our quarterback room with Travis, Chuba, Rodemaker, and incoming freshman A.J. Duffy? Side note, will y'all be at the game Saturday? If so, I will be in attendance. First 3 rounds of drinks are on me. All right, Ranye. We will be there, Ranye.
You're gonna have to meet up somewhere though to get those drinks to collect.
I'll be there early because I'm not driving up with Uncle Corey. I'm driving up with Uncle Ira, and that means 3:30 kickoff means we got to be at the stadium by what 9:30.
Well, the beauty is that make sure Uncle Ira knows that they do not open the parking lot until 12:30.
Oh, okay, good.
So the earliest you can get there is at 12:30. So you will be in the parking lot at 12:30.
Poor Ira, just such a good sport, and he has to deal with
Corey will be rolling in about 1:30.
Okay.
That's good, right?
Should we drive together?
Hey, man, you would have thought, but nobody's talked to me about anything. So I guess old Sea Dog's going up on his own, and then I can just leave you fools at the stadium.
No, we need to all go up together. I don't know. You did a story on Mackenzie the other day. He spoke to the media. He sounds resigned to this as just this is the swan song, right? Unfortunately, it's not him, playing football. It's maybe just him mentoring a young quarterback room, and then off he goes into the next chapter.
Well, I think he got that last year at UCF was his senior year, right?
18?
Or was he? Yeah, right.
No,
Wasn't he a senior?
Got there.
Then?
He was there. I think his freshman year was 16. Like he got there.
I thought he had redshirted in 15 and then played as a redshirt freshman in 16. I guess that makes sense.
I'll check it out. You keep carrying on.
So I guess he had not used up his eligibility, but this isn't a COVID year, so I don't know how he could. I don't know how you could technically say I want credit for the COVID year. He didn't play during the COVID year. He was just on their scout team. So no, I think the clock has run out. I think this was his last chance. And he's played in enough games that you couldn't redshirt him again. I don't think. If he was redshirted at all, I guess it doesn't matter. He's played 5 seasons now. So in the current NCAA rules, I don't think there's a chance he could come back. And I also don't know that he would want to.
Going into last year, he was listed as a redshirt senior at UCF. So 2020, he was listed as a redshirt senior at UCF. He enrolled.
So I guess he did get credit for that year as being his COVID year. Because he was technically on the team. I assume he was a scholarship athlete.
Yeah, but
right?
Going into 2020, so COVID hadn't even happened yet. So he played 19, and this is his bio going into the 2020 season. Did they announce it before the season that they were going to do the whole – I thought it was like a midseason thing.
No, but I'm saying Emmett Rice last year was a redshirt senior, but then got his year back because of COVID, and he played a lot. So I'm saying Mackenzie Milton going into 2020 was a redshirt senior. Well, that didn't count as a season because of COVID, so he got this year as his one last year. Right. So yeah, I don't think there would be any eligibility there. And I don't know that I think he's been very good for the QB room. I don't know that he'd want to come back for another year where he doesn't play, and I don't necessarily know that they'd want him back, taking reps away from Chubba Purdy and A.J. Duffy, if those are the two guys that are on the roster with Jordan Travis in the spring. I don't know that they want Mackenzie Milton, who's probably clearly not a part of their long-term plans, to take any reps away from guys that are.
Well said, Corey. Last one, Seminole JM. It's funny, the psychological dichotomy of something feasibly attainable versus something laughably out of reach. In 2019, I was a student at Clemson and was adamant that we would pull the upset and proceeded to let everybody know about it. You can imagine how that went. This year, we objectively have a chance which has counterintuitively stirred only pessimism. Essentially, I'm looking to you guys to please give me some Kool-Aid. My negativity is centralized in two places. First, our strength is running the ball. I feel Clemson, although they live in nickel and dime, will crowd the box, force Travis to complete those 3 to 7 yard routes. That also means our receivers winning one-on-ones. Secondly, I think Fuller will likely hedge his bet to stop the run, thus making DJ beat us. If we're in man, can we consistently cover those dudes? And if we're in cover 4, which we've played a lot recently, can we mitigate 5-yard outs and crossing routes that Cunningham from Louisville ate us up with? If you have any positive speculation on those areas, let it rain. Well,
did he really say let it rain?
Yeah, he said let it rain.
Nice. That's a good finish. Most of you should finish your post with that. If you have anything to add, let it rain.
I do have that fear again. You'll see those games like Hawaii plays Georgia in a bowl game, and it's like Hawaii averages 528 yards this season. Tonight they've got 211. It's like Florida State is the 13th ranked rushing offense. They average 280. I can see that on the TV screen, so I understand where you're coming from.
But it's also Florida State hasn't played in the WAC. Notre Dame's has got a good defense as Clemson, and I think the offense is playing better now than it did when it went up against Notre Dame. It's a legitimate question. I think what you have to do is when he was talking about either play cover 4 or man to man, I don't think you need to play a bunch of man to man. I think if they want to take a bunch of 6-yard passes, I know that can be very frustrating. But they have not shown the ability as an offense to put together 10 or 12 or 14 plays positive to drive into an end zone. I think your best chances are them screwing up, a false start, drop pass, and all of a sudden it's 2nd and 12 or 3rd and 12, as opposed to playing tight man-to-man coverage and thinking your corners can run with those guys, and just praying that they drop the pass. Like that's not the defense I would play. I would play the little more bend but don't break because you are good in the red zone. And once they get in the red zone, it does tighten up a little bit. So that would be my strategy, and hope that your front 4 don't blitz a ton. Hope your front 4 can get home and make him move off his spot, make him make some bad throws, some inaccurate throws, which he does a lot. And yes, the one thing I would be very concerned by is because you don't have linebackers that are very good in coverage or maybe even reading a route, is those crossing patterns, man. If you give him time and get one of those speedy receivers on a crossing route where Noles can't maybe keep up with him right off the line of scrimmage, you turn an easy. That's what you don't want to give DJ an easy peasy 4-yard completion that turns into a 40-yard completion, and just get the momentum rolling like that. Just make them earn it. And the crossing routes, because I do think they'll play more. They'll play safer in the back end. That those crossing routes across the middle of the field, obviously, that's pretty redundant. Those are the ones that I worry that can turn a 6-yard gain into a 50-yard gain because you're out of position. But we haven't seen that a lot lately, so maybe that's out of this team's resume now. They don't do that anymore. They don't give up the long crossing patterns.
North Carolina just looks so impotent against Florida State, and I don't know how much of that was them maybe being in some weird malaise. But they wanted to win that game. I mean, they were in the thick of the Coastal. They wanted revenge. They couldn't do anything against Florida State. Only Sam Howell scrambling when they were covering well on the back end. So
that was their offense, right? He ran for like 130 yards, and their one touchdown there before the end of the game or one of their was a great throw to a really good receiver in the very back of the end zone that was pretty well covered, all things considered. It's just a great play. There was nothing open, easy, it didn't seem, for North Carolina other than Sam Howell running. And I would assume you'll see a much similar defense, and you just hope that you guys can wrap up the quarterback at the line of scrimmage and don't let him run for a bunch of first downs.
And here's the thing. Let Clemson crowd the box, as you said, Seminole Jam. Let them crowd the box and force Travis to complete those 3 to 7 yard routes. They're not going to be 3 to 7 yard routes. Because if they crowd the box, he's going to do the whole Nick Marshall pop pass where he does a drop step, and it's like, oh, I thought he was running the ball. No, he stepped back, and he's throwing it over the top. I'm telling you, this is crazy because I didn't really know how legitimate this AAC offense was going to be, but I don't think they're running an AAC offense. They're not pro style with tempo. Man, they're a spread like Gus Malzahn offense. Like they run the hell out of the ball, they lean on running it, and then when you do crowd it and you sell out and you're just we're not taking it anymore, he throws the ball well enough that he'll make you pay. And against North Carolina, it wasn't guys running wide open. He was putting the ball in spots where his guys could go up and make a play, and they did. This offense is good. It really is. I don't know what the concern for most people is right now. I don't know if it's you thinking Clemson's offense is going to come to life or this defense is going to breathe fire and make Florida State wilt. I don't think Florida State's not going to move up and down the field on Clemson. But, man, there's going to be a drive where they're going to run the ball well 2-3 plays in a row, maybe just 2 plays in a row, and that's going to be enough to make Clemson get anxious. And then he's going to do one of those crazy. He's going to be running the speed option, the down the line, like the midline option. And it's like, oh, look at this. Oh no, he stops and takes a step back and throws it down the field. They just got to make sure they don't get that illegal man downfield from the offensive lineman, which they haven't gotten it. I'm telling you, there's just so many different ways they can put stress on a defense, and Clemson's offense I don't think is good enough to mitigate it. I mean. Maybe Clemson's defense is good enough to clamp down Jordan Travis and only allow 23 points. I don't think Clemson's offense is going to score 24 or 27. I just don't. So
well, and here's the thing though. They are going to do everything they can to hit Travis all the time. That
is true. I am not. That is something I do need to. Yeah, man. I do think
he is not. Yeah. It'll be like Notre Dame. I mean, Notre Dame got on him pretty good this year too. But that is part of their game plan. Is they know his history. They know he's not really been in a game like this, and they want him. It was Mickey's game plan every time they faced the mobile quarterback. Make him feel you. Yeah. If he wants to run, that's great, but he's going to feel it at the end of the game, and he's going to maybe want to stop running so much in the third quarter. And that's going to be their plan. I can promise you that's Venable's plan. Now, it doesn't always work. There have been plenty of mobile quarterbacks that have run against Clemson's defense over the years, just like every other defense in the country. But that's what I'm looking for is how much is Jordan Travis running? What kind of hits is he taking? Because look, man, I feel like a lot of the times he's been hurt, it has been on passing attempts. Clearly the Wake Forest game, but I feel like some of the ones last year, it was when he didn't see the hit or he got hit in the pocket.
Absolutely.
When he's running and can see the defenders, he's either going to get down or he can usually contort his body where he doesn't feel the brunt of it. Yep. And he's getting better at that, it would seem. But they are going to make if he runs, they want him to feel them every time he does it. But that said, you were absolutely right. I think this is the best offense they've played in a while, Clemson. Pitt. Besides Pitt, I was trying to think of like Syracuse. I think Florida State's offense is as good as NC State's offense right now, the way it's going. It's just a matter of what kind of weapon is Jordan Travis in the running game? Is he a guy that's going to run for 120 yards in this game, or is he going to be a guy that runs for 9 like he did against Notre Dame? I think he has to keep them honest with his legs because that is the wild card. That is the thing that Florida State has. It's hard to defend. You can say they're going to crowd the box. They're going to take away this. They're going to take away that. Jordan Travis one-on-one with most linebackers is a mismatch, and that can happen. That could happen a few times. So I'm very interested in how that goes. But you're right. What's really should be really encouraging for all Florida State fans, just as we move forward with this program, is like right now they're one of the best rushing teams in the country. Right now, it's what they do. They've decided this is what they do, and they do it pretty darn well. Are they going to do it well Saturday? I don't know. But moving forward,
and it's not Army running the ball.
Yes.
They run it so the diversified attack. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Corey.
yeah. But the point being, wait until they get some receivers out wide, because then it becomes indefensible. Like, you don't have to be an incredible throwing quarterback. You don't have to be Tom Brady or Mackenzie Milton or Jameis Winston when in this offense, if you can run the ball and you have guys out wide that can make plays. That makes it almost indefensible. So that's the next step, obviously, because what are you going to do? You're going to play, give me a good wide receiver. I can't even think of one. Yeah, there you go. You going to play Travis Hunter one-on-one? Out wide, good luck, man, because you're so worried you got to crowd the box because Jordan Travis can run. Okay, good. Now you've got one of the best athletes in the world out there one-on-one with your cornerback. And if he doesn't make a play, it's an 80-yard touchdown. Or he might just run right by him. That's the next step in the evolution of this offense, is to get some real difference makers out wide. I don't think they're on the roster necessarily. Maybe Malik McClain is one. But moving forward, they look good. I know for a couple of recruits, and Travis Hunter being one of them. That's what should give you a little hope, man. Like, man, this offense is already pretty good. It's shown it can kind of run on anyone, even without a great offensive line. Imagine now putting one or two great wide receivers out there. Who doctor? Anyway, so maybe Travis Hunter will be at the game on Saturday. Maybe he'll play. Would they know if you just put him in an 88 jersey? That had to have happened at some point, right?
You could tell.
In our
He's
history?
electric. He's electric. You could tell.
Yeah, they'd be like, that doesn't look like Portier. Where did that come from? No offense, Portier, Kentron, you're my man. You're going to make it happen. You're still a redshirt freshman.
What are you saying is obvious, has surely happened before? That somebody dressed up a recruit and rolled them out there in the middle of a game?
Maybe not that, but a guy that either, who knows? Like, you don't know what Clemson's left guard looks like facially.
Yeah.
So if you got a similar body type, like what if, no, you couldn't do it because, like I was going to say, what if Jalen Ramsey wanted to play a couple quarters?
We would put Ernie Sims instead of like Steven Dix. Just put like Ernie Sims out there.
Yeah, and see if anybody notices.
Yeah.
It's like replacing coffee with Folgers Crystals or whatever that commercial was, the Folgers. Like, can anybody notice? I'm sure that's happened before, but probably not in a while. I guess there's a lot of cameras out there now.
Best part of waking up, DeLuna in your cup.
There you go. That's what I meant to say. That's what DeLuna. It's like replacing regular coffee with DeLuna.
Yeah. Hey, Ranye, we'll be in Clemson. Find us, man. Get at us. Thanks for listening, everybody. It's been fun. Hopefully, we'll be a plus 500 team, Corey. There's a possibility we will be a winning program the next time we reconvene.
Well, no, they'd be 4-4, right?
Damn it, you're right. I'm terrible at math.
Well, they'd be you're talking about ACC.
Thank
ACC
you.
record, they'd be 3-2. I got you. You're right, Aslan. They'll be 3-2 in the ACC.
Way to pick me up. Love this guy. Root for the Braves for him, everybody. He's Corey. I'm Aslan. Thanks for listening to Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee. Oh, and don't forget postgame show on Warchant TV with Tom Lang and Gene Williams 10 minutes after the game. Come explore our world of coffee. DeLuna Coffee features over 24 different blends. DeLuna's unique roasts can be delivered ground finely for drip coffee makers, coarse for the craft crowd, untouched as a whole bean, or even in convenient K-Cups. Founded in 2014 by the Lemmix family, Ed and Brett are FSU alums and boosters who are extending a special offer to all listeners. Use the promo code WARCHANT15 for a 15% discount. Visit DeLunaCoffee.com and check out their Facebook and Instagram.